No, it's not.
Oh, it's better closed, is it?
Because of the dog. I mean,
Of course.
it's because the door upstairs is still open, just in case of somebody
Mm.
will come.
Yeah.
There's a fan if
So-
ever. There's a fan
There's a
It's
fan,
okay
yeah.
now. It's okay, it's not.
if ever.
You can change your seat here.
Oh, I'm
And it's
okay
much
right
more-
now.
it's much
Yeah,
more
I'm just
fresh
thinking
air,
in a
yeah.
while. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
You could put him right outside and open this door.
This is what I did.
Ah, but then this door can be open.
No, because the door upstairs is open.
That can be closed.
For people, no, but
No, some people
For
sneak
people,
in later.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
some people come
Okay.
later, that's why.
Yeah, Ireland's coming, so.
Finding difficult.
Yeah.
Let
Give
him
him
in.
an injection. Be quiet.
So obviously there is no solution.
No problem, sir. No problem.
But there is no real problem. It's maybe just unpleasant, which is the problem, or something.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Or not.
So yeah, this is all there is, and so.
And what?
What?
And what? This is all there is, and so?
Yeah, and nothing what. This is all there is. Period. Me might ask, okay, what does this mean for me? But it doesn't have a meaning. It doesn't say anything. To say this is all there is doesn't say anything. It's like the same as saying nothing. Me can't do anything with that.
Me asks, so what is?
So what does this mean for me?
Mm.
What does this information give me?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. It's not really an information. It's empty words. One could say this doesn't give anything because it's all there is. But there's nothing inside to gain or to get, or. But that is what the me would try to attempt, to find something in that, to find something in what I experience, something that fulfills me. What's in there for me? What can I find here? But there's nothing in there.
What is? What happens there?
Well,
The me would ask, what is happening there? What is? What?
in the end, it's just an idea that if I would know that, then I'll be better off. It's just one of the ideas where me assumes its fulfillment in knowing how that works, or in knowing what's going on.
I see.
It could also look in feelings or in adventures or in any experience, but knowing is just one idea.
So this saying, this is all there is.
Yeah.
It's like hooking. It's like the hook for the fishes to come and wander.
For me, everything I would say for me is a hook, because it thinks that I have a message and that there's something said that I can use. So I would have to keep silent. But then me would use silence as the hook. Silence is the real message.
Silence.
It's full of sound. That's what I experienced. Massive amount of information. I don't like it. Some people call it tinnitus.
Yeah.
In the background, some fine, like bells, like crystal bells.
More like energy.
Yeah,
Mm.
I would say it's energy.
But, you know, I feel very alone with that.
Of course, that is, that's exactly the sense of me that feels separate, and it can't stand silence, in a way.
Okay.
It can't stand to be not distracted in seeking, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Because the pure I experience something is uncomfortable. When there is separation, for the me that's just uncomfortable. Immediately.
For the me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've actually just said it's the me that's reacting. The thing itself is a completely
Exactly.
natural experience.
Absolutely.
So the rejection of it is coming from the ego.
Exactly.
So if you've got a really strong ego, what do you do?
Well, in that sense, what I understand is really the sense of being someone. I'm separate. This is what I would call ego or I.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it, but most people overlay that sense of unfulfillment, that sense of I can't stand it, with seeking and distraction. But in the end, for the me, there is no solution within the me. The only solution would be
To give up on
death. But me wouldn't do that. Me cannot give up on itself.
So
There is no solution.
So you just continue to suffer.
Apparently, because that's the other thing, that this sense of me isn't something real. It experiences itself as real, but it isn't something real. So the suffering, this whole I can't stand it, is actually not something real. But seen from the me, the conclusion is I have to go on suffering. Yes.
When you talk about death, you talk about death of the me, not necessarily death when you leave your body.
Not necessarily, but in a way that's
Apparently,
that's the more important death for the me.
Yeah.
The body is not so interesting in that.
Yeah, it's the death of the me.
Of the
Which is
sense
a real-
of I am here now
Yeah,
as
which is
something.
a real death
So
for the me.
exactly, the end of me being something on my own. That's for the me. That's the real death.
Right.
Doesn't that make it sound like a bit dramatic, considering there isn't a me anyway?
Exactly, there is no death, and
Yeah.
that's why I say, seen from the me, it's death. But seen from the me, it looks that dramatic. But of course, as there is no me, there is no death. That's completely illusory. So death is nothing. It's really nothing.
The thing I notice about the me is there's never a new thought. Like when something is triggered that's painful, it's always the same thoughts. And that makes me realize, that was one of the first things that made me realize it wasn't real.
Okay.
Because there was no new thoughts. It was always a repeat of the same feelings, bodily, the same negative thoughts, the same fear. when it could be something very small or something very big for the me.
Yeah. Okay. And? Or what?
No, just that's how it's. That made me question it. That made me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 Make it into a problem.
Now you have a recognition and may think that this means something or a step further or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To
Or that
see-
that's an advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
To see how it's always making me is always everything is a problem with me when there's no problem. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
Only this repetition.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Which isn't in that sense a problem too. It just is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, which is apparently something, cannot realise that something isn't real.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It'd just be an idea of something not being real,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Yeah, because all it does is to experience as real. It can play games with real and unreal and what is an illusion and what's not, but the basic experience is I'm real and
Yeah.
everything I experience is real. Yeah. So it can't access unreal, or real and unreal can't access it. Yeah. I mean, in the end, it doesn't have to, but yeah, it can't access this. In a way, one could say it only consists of being unable to access oneness, which is a story, but it can't access it because it only consists of I'm separate from that. I am only I am. That's all me knows. That's all me is. Apparently.
It doesn't access oneness because its experience is unfulfilled. Did you say that, or?
Well, it can't. In a way, one could say in both ways. It can't access oneness because it is oneness.
Yeah.
So there is actually no
Yeah.
gap.
There's
There is no
there's no
access
oneness
needed.
to access. There's no oneness to.
Exactly. And on the other hand, the whole experience of I am is I am separate, and the dream is that I have to find access to oneness. That's
Why
the
is this
dream.
all happening anyway?
For no reason.
It's an absurd.
If it would be real, if separation would be real, it would be sad. Yeah, absolutely.
No, absurd.
So absurd. Yeah, it's absurd, of course.
It doesn't have any
Yeah,
meaning.
absolutely.
Mm.
Sitting in a room and talk about oneness is absurd. That's all there is, and it doesn't need meaning. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, I had that inkling before I even came here. You know, why I'm even coming here.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not alone.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I definitely felt there was no reason to come here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same here.
Except the me has a reason.
There could be the dream of a reason. Exactly.
Oh yeah, very strong that one.
Yeah.
It's like I've got to come here to find out. I've got
Something.
to come here to sort out the me. You know, all the crap.
Exactly.
But
But
I knew there was nothing to find out.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I might as well go.
Yeah.
What do I say?
Or not. It doesn't matter. But in a way, that's the dream. I am here. as a felt sense, not as an idea, but as a felt sense. I am here, and immediately that sense happens. The question is, okay, why am I here? What do I get from here? Because as soon as this sense happens, the sense of I'm something, there is the unfulfillment, and immediately the question, where do I get? What do I get here?
I mean, the thing is...
Which isn't wrong.
No,
it just
it's
is
just a habit.
Yeah.
I mean, a lifetime of this stuff,
Yeah.
of being me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, the desire is to not be me somewhere.
Somewhere one could say so, yeah.
Somebody's saying, I've got to stop all this repetition and, you know, all this stuff and experience oneness, as you put it, being outside of this game, this thing.
Yeah.
But it never happens.
Exactly, because it isn't possible. The idea that something can stop is already part of the dream of I am. And all it looks, in a way, all it looks for is a way out. But there isn't anything else, then what happens? There is no way out of that. But yeah, the idea for the me is, I need to get out of here. This isn't it. What I experience isn't it. I need to find a way out. And I don't know what the story is. And awaken into another consciousness. Awaken into another... Not this. I have to awaken out of this into another blissful state. Or into another blissful experience. But that's the dream. Because whenever there is me, there is that setup. This isn't it. I gotta get out of here. Into some other place, situation, state, experience, something. So that's the basic, it's an energetic setup, but that's the basic setup. This isn't it. It must be something else. What can happen to me? Which then I for sure experience. It's very important for the me. It's not really, I know what you say, in a way there is a longing for death, but also a longing to experience that. The fulfillment afterwards, so to speak.
So can I ask you, I mean, what are your sort of, how do you feel about ideas of letting go or letting be? You know, what is the correlation? You know, what is it, what's the process?
There's no correlation to what I say, because they both are ideas within the dream of me. Because me is seeking for a way out, let's say, because its apparent presence is uncomfortable.
Yes.
So it's part of the sense of I am. The pure presence already is uncomfortable. So it seeks a way out of that. What can I do? I can meditate, I can do yoga. I can find, one idea is that I can find the right attitude towards life, or the right way how I can relate to life. And one idea is I just let it all happen. I take a step back, or at least try to hold myself back and let it happen. Which never really works. It works as long as everything works out fine. It's okay, but when it doesn't work out fine anymore, then me can't really hold itself back and just let it happen. So it needs, that is just an idea of how I have to behave, but it needs constant effort, actually.
Mm.
It's just
I understand that.
it's just oneself working through life by holding back, holding oneself together. And that too remains unfulfilling, because what apparently happens all the time is the presence of me. In letting happen. And same with letting go. In a way, me can't let go one time. It has to let go again and again and again. Hoping that this letting go is kind of an exercise. And at the end, there is, or somewhere in the future is waiting a big letting go. When I've learned enough to let go, somewhere there is the real let go waiting. And then I'll be whatever, happy.
And then I'll be.
Then I'll be whatever.
I'll be.
Then I'll be.
Again.
Exactly. What always survives is I am. So seen from the me, it's a real dilemma we are pointing to.
Mm-hmm. So why do we have me? Why is me even here?
For no reason, but in a way that would be already the dream, that me is really here.
You could talk about like a story of evolution though, and say there was a survival benefit from having that sense of self. You could say something like that. Yeah, you wanted to make it.
Yeah, one could make up an explanation. Yeah. Nature maybe thought that it would be useful for survival.
And it probably was.
Destroying at the side the whole planet. But, evolution knows no good or bad, so it tried.
You could just say like it's an
But in a
error.
way, this would also be an explanation within a reality that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That there is a real Earth, a real time and space, a real development.
It's just like a mistake, wasn't it? An error, like a misidentification, because it was never there in the first place.
Well, I mean, a mistake.
Not a mistake, but a misidentification. It's just like there was just
It
what
just is
and
what
then
apparently happened.
it's
It's just beyond good or bad. But no one cares. There is no me anywhere who could care about me. Or anything about the universe, the Earth blowing up. So there is no better possibility. In a way, the idea that would also be coming from the dream that actually it could all be better. But no, it just is as it is, and there is nothing else.
Does there exist a morphogenetic field, or supposedly that all of this me is everywhere with everyone, like it kind of a...
No, actually there is no me.
Apparently everyone suffers with the same thing.
Apparently one could say me suffers from itself, from separation. Yeah. But it's not a real suffering, it's illusory. I mean, many people just go through their life quite well being me.
Yeah.
Many people would call themselves happy.
Yeah.
If you ask people in the street, most people would say they are happy.
Yeah.
It's 80% in Germany. No, really.
80%.
They do that. People say I'm happy.
Yes, but this is often, I think, making up.
Yeah.
This is often this, how are you Happy. I'm happy.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
This might be happening in the spiritual world, but I think most people, if you ask them, they mean something else by happiness. That, okay. But in a way, basically they would say, no, good, basically good. It's alright.
On holiday. Right? On holiday.
But yeah, most people just know separation as the only reality, you know, and they think that working for fulfillment and it's just so normal to them.
I mean, in Germany they got programmed that you, if you have a job, if you have a house and a family, then you are happy. It is like this.
Yeah.
So that's why as long as it is still like
Yeah.
this, then it's...
Yeah, of course.
I know people that really, well, I know they're not really happy. They think they're happy, but they're satisfied because they have enough money.
That's what I
They're
mean. I wouldn't.
satisfied.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's not.
They
It's
don't
not that they really are, but it's
think-
not that they themselves have the
Right,
impression
right.
that they suffer through their life.
No, they have all the
That's
things,
what I mean,
and they feel thankful for that.
more or less.
What if you don't feel that way?
What?
Nothing.
What have you done?
What I have done, actually, nothing. Nothing I did was in that sense helpful for dying. And that's the dilemma, that me thinks that there is something to reach and that I will reach that by seeking, by being active, by doing the right things. But what we talk about here, or what is presented here, is just the death of that setup. The early death of me.
The early death.
But for no
The
reason.
early death.
Not because I did something right or I did something wrong.
Because what the me usually does, it compares. So if it tries to see what happened in the story, in the dream story, whatever, there was drugs, there was going to meetings, so maybe the me will get the conclusion, maybe I should try this also.
Yeah, maybe not even in a specific way, but just see, you were seeking too, so maybe it's good to seek. Which is always the basic conclusion for me. Maybe it's good if I try. The conclusion would never be to not be there, let's say. So I was seeking, spiritually seeking for some time, and but I couldn't say that it happened because of that. Actually, the whole seeking, as a story, one could say, kept me alive until that.
In a way, the only way for me is to seek. The only way to...
Me exists in seeking, exactly.
Yeah.
And what we talk about here is not a finding.
Yeah.
It's just the end of that setup of I am and I'm seeking.
So seeking can't bring you to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not seeking.
In a way, it's exactly, that's also a story, but in a way it's exactly the seeking that keeps you separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely keeps you separate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It keeps it all going on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You do something, there is another effect, you're there to experience the effect. 5 minutes of joy, 5 minutes of silence in the head. So you think it's good that I did it. It's good that I was there to experience the silence. So I'll do it again. I mean, me never wants its absence. It somehow, one could say, it wants to survive and enjoy its fruits. It wants to enjoy the fruits of its work.
Of its what?
Of its work.
Ah, yeah, I just was thinking, it's the same with arts. Or since childhood, one after the next. kind of discipline of art I was getting trained for, in a way. But what I really, so I asked myself, was I a searcher actually? What was I searching through? You go through techniques, not to be perfect or reach perfection, but to be able to express that what is in that moment for me in arts, in playing in the orchestra, in dancing and acting, in painting, in whatever. So it's the same for artists. Actually, it's a searcher. But really, what you want to express is what is. Express yourself, and
Yeah, but most artists, in a way, it's nothing against art, but most artists, of course, want to express a personal. Or it's maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think about
Actually,
personal. No?
I don't think that's quite right. I think I'm a painter.
Yeah.
Okay. And the process. There's a parallel process. One is where you don't know what you're doing at all.
Yeah.
You're just being.
Yeah.
And there's something there.
Yeah.
That you look at. And other people look at it and they say, that's really nice. Or that's this, or that's that. Or expressing this and that. So it's making an expression, but from no motivation other than it is.
Yeah.
And then there are other painters, sculptors, etc., who have a very strong idea about what they want to portray.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make something that they think is important.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Stylistically, in terms of beauty or not, angry, whatever it is. And it's kind of a bit different, we see, but you kind of get both processes going on at the same time. You can't really do it without letting go. Letting go.
But
just being and making.
Yeah.
And then you analyse.
Yeah.
But maybe that's different for each artist as well.
Yeah, but I
maybe
think
subconsciously I wanted to really express what is. I don't know about my person. I think I never had this kind of person and ego. I never knew who I was or something like that. I feel now. I don't know. I can't say how I feel now.
Would you say that both those processes, what you were talking about with the different artists, one, it's still art just happening.
Yeah, of
but
course.
One is with the motivation, and the other is more just happening. But they're both just happening. There's no doer in either of them.
I don't know. I mean, I just think of little things like if you're really stuck with the painting, you get rid of the work, the best bit. Something moves, so the thing becomes fresh again, which means you're not engaged with some idea about what it's going to be or what it is. Especially modern painting or sculpture. It's more open, isn't it? It's just an expression. But hey, talk about something else.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's about yeah.
And it's all about ego probably anyway.
We are so blessed that we
ego
have
is
the famous painter even now today, so we can
Yes,
turn around a little bit.
Very good.
Oh.
you're a painter.
I am,
Stroke the ego.
I feel so chaotic right now, just chaotic. And I'm actually glad, so I have not all these structures of thinking about all what you were talking, all this way of looking at it. And I think that is so great and was so great, but I have no hold to it at all now. I just feel chaotic. Just a statement.
Yeah, I mean you can't hold on to anything.
Yeah.
So, and in the end nothing was really said here, so you definitely cannot hold on to anything that was spoken here.
Except hope.
Hope?
Yeah. Come here with hope.
There is no.
Without it.
Exactly. Hope is a dream.
So there's a liberation to not continue hoping.
Yes, one could say so. It's freedom actually. To not need hope is freedom.
Absolutely. I mean, this is I couldn't desire that
Mm. I mean, on the other hand, me needs hope. Me lives in hope.
It lives in hope.
It lives in hope because
Yeah.
its experiences, that isn't it.
Yeah.
So I have to hope that at some point, some time in the future, it will hopefully be it. Because otherwise, I fucked up. Yeah, exactly. So in a way, one could say, me is happy as long as it has hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how good or bad the actual situation is, but as long as there's the hope and the assumption that it will lead to my fulfillment, then everything is good.
So it's a rather stubborn, hard end.
End?
Yeah. For the me.
Oh, seen from the me, it's just death. But
It's just death.
Me,
It's just
exactly.
now. It's not tomorrow.
No, there is no tomorrow, exactly. Yeah.
So, you know.
But actually it's far more worse than death in a way, because me already isn't real. So the assumption that I'm here and that there will be a future event, liberation, death, enlightenment, whatever, is the dream. The mere presence of me is illusory. That you are here is the dream.
You said it's a little tougher than.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I picked up on that in a way because it does feel very, very difficult.
Difficult?
Difficult, tough, hard, death,
It's yeah, okay.
deathly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about here. It's really death. It's not about becoming anything, reaching anything. Seen from the me, it's just bob.
So obviously the me is scared to death.
Absolutely, of course.
For
All
a
it wants
better
is
word.
to survive. All it wants is to survive in order to experience its future fulfillment.
Mm. So what happens to me?
It's not even really there. Nothing happens to me.
So nothing's happening anyway.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
just,
it. That's all there is. There isn't anything else. Nothing will ever happen.
But may I ask about this me? It's is it just in a way an idea, or is it compact with energy and all this kind of package? Or
In the end, it's nothing. It's nothing real, but it is experienced as, I would describe it as an energetic setup. It's not an I thought or
yeah,
a conditioning or a misconception that one has. It's really the sense of I am something in here.
a compact setup, energetic.
One could say so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here and I experience that situation as something real. It's the whole sense that I'm alive. I'm something.
So a big shock could help.
How?
Electroshock.
Well, it seems like big shocks momentarily get rid of the me. Momentarily, apparently, like big shocks or extreme sports, or the me's like gone.
Yeah, that can happen, but I think it's actually much more rare than it's assumed. But yeah, yeah.
I've had it happen when somebody died that I loved. I know that there was no me for a while.
Well. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you suffer, the me actually likes that because it keeps the me going, basically.
Yeah, me at
Me
least.
likes suffering.
Yeah, it likes something going on,
Mm.
so it can also be suffering. It's at least something
If there
that's
isn't
going on.
anything else, then there's always suffering, isn't there?
One. Yeah.
To fall
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah. So everything else
It's not really that it likes suffering, but it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
In that sense, it likes it. Because then it can position itself. It can. What it also likes to do, what it also does, is to live in It lives in separation, but also in relating to what it experiences. So that's in a way to stay alive. When there is something going on, it can take a position towards that. I'm really suffering. It's so bad. Poor me, for example. And it survives in that being positioning itself.
So what if you kind of start being able to observe that, in you? You can see that that's the process. You can see that's what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, becomes apparent that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You might get to grips with something here.
Yeah.
Observe, and then just continues. But being
Yeah.
observed.
Yeah. That can happen.
Because it doesn't change. It's still there. All that.
That can happen, yeah. I wouldn't call that liberation, but there can be an obviousness about this, what we are talking about here, but still for someone. And then me lives in a kind of awareness about its dilemma. And
so what is your objective here?
I don't.
You don't have one.
Yeah, really. I don't have one.
Not to give us a helping hand.
No, not at all. No,
Not at all.
no, not at all. The hand would grab into nothing, because there is no one to help. So that you need, or that someone needs help, is the dream. No one needs help. There is no better. That's all there is.
So in a way, maybe one just becomes strong. That's it. Because you're not weakened by this sort of illusion, for a start. Your whole essence can be stronger because you're observing, you're not running a story, you're not so preoccupied with me, prepared to be wider, stronger.
It may even look like that in a way, but actually there is no one left who is strong in that sense. But of course there is also no one left living in that seeking setup, which somehow has the sense of a permanent threat.
Yeah,
Me, in a way, feels permanently threatened by the situation, because what I experience decides about how I feel.
Yeah.
Or what I experience, it decides where I stand in life and where I am at. So in a way, the experience me has, the separate out there, is somehow a permanent threat to my peace.
To my peace.
To my assumed, what I think what peace is.
Yes.
Good feelings or good experiences. But seen from the me, it's pretty wild. That just a person may walk by and just call you names and your peace is gone. So seen from the me, there's a permanent threat of what me would assume as peace. And of course, when there is no me, that completely drops in that sense. But it doesn't get replaced by a strong sense of me. It doesn't get replaced by someone who is detached or who doesn't care or who doesn't feel anything.
It this like a step, or what is it? Is it just a kind of
It's
dissolving? Or
as a story, one could say so. Yeah, it's a dissolving.
it's a dissolving. Would
As
that
a
be nice
story.
way?
Yeah. Because in the end, in the dissolving, it turns out that there is nothing there to dissolve. So even that's a story. But as a story, I would say it's death, dissolving, fading out.
Mm.
For no one. No one survives. No one has faded out. No one survives fading out. It's just fading out.
And you're talking in this way because you've spent time as a seeker looking in other ways. And
Yeah, of course.
trying techniques, etc., etc.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just sort of find.
Of course, yeah.
And ultimately, didn't work.
Ultimately, I failed, of course. Like every seeker, I failed.
Yeah.
So what about
But on the other hand, this didn't happen because I failed. Because usually, what happens to the seeker when it fails, it tries again. And again. And again. And again. And somewhere else. And trying that. And this. So this didn't happen because I came to a point of failing. It was just, sticking to the picture, it was just fading out while I was still trying.
Mm.
While I was still seeking, it faded out. And the fading out can be that or years. Apparently, that's all a story.
So the me just faded out. The me was fading out. Is that what you said?
Me didn't do fading out. Me has been faded out. Or it was no thing appearing as me fading out.
Yeah.
That's what apparently happened.
In the story.
That
Just like-
would be the story.
The painter disappearing in his painting is possible in the story. It's a story too.
Yeah, but it would mostly happen that after 5 minutes he comes out of it again.
It means he's absent while he's painting, disappearing into this absence and surviving the absence.
Maybe one can't say that. Maybe he's absent. Maybe it's just an experience of flow, an experience of stepping out of the story. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Me often mistakes absence for just having no story. But of course, there can be an experience of flow, of letting go,
Right.
which no one does. But neither of those are right or wrong. It just is what happens. Neither of those is further or better or more advanced, or it completely doesn't matter. But
That's right.
I mean, me would assume an experience of flow pretty close to enlightenment.
The me would, yeah.
But it's just an experience of flow, of everything works out, I don't think much.
I think there was some kind of Zen story about a very special, very good painter, a mystic as well, in the same time. And he was disappearing while he was painting into his painting. He vanished, he was never there anymore. He dematerialized.
Yeah, in a way, it's a story, one could say. It happened, it doesn't require any special situation.
Okay.
So it can be while painting or while doing the dishes, or it doesn't. There is no relationship between what apparently happens and death. Because as a story, we would say death can happen any time, and it requires nothing.
Yes, also like a yogi who dematerializes himself because he's a mystic and a yogi. It doesn't mean the me is dead, not necessarily. Maybe it's just a great ego and he knows perfect how to dematerialize himself. And it's in the story. It's the story, but it's a true story.
Yeah? Have you ever seen anyone dematerialize?
You have never seen?
No.
Have you?
I have seen the appearances.
But not the disappearance.
Just materialized by walking through the door. Here I am.
Walking through the door? Well, no,
Yeah.
it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's a bit
Phenomenon.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like being able to be invisible while you're actually there. You know, it's the ability to sort of somehow not be there.
Yeah, but in a way,
Make yourself invisible.
Yeah. So there's possibly the ability to be nothing, and you're not there.
yeah, but in a way, per definition, if that would be possible, per definition, there would be a sense of being someone, but just being invisible to others. But there would be the experience of I am invisible. It wouldn't, let's say it is possible, it would be a technique to create a state. But for the person who has become invisible, there would be a sense of me being in that effect that I created by, I don't know, meditation or whatever. It's all very theoretical at the moment, but not that much actually, because me is always trying effects or working on something to create an effect. But of course, it has to be there to apparently create the effect and to enjoy or to experience its effect. So, becoming invisible in that sense, there would be no connection to that message. Though in that sense there would be no advantage. So the yogi who dematerializes himself also has to materialize himself to earn the fruits. That he can really do that. He wouldn't stay dematerialized probably. No one would ever notice how cool he was. Just gone. Forgotten after 1 hour.
Still left with this sort of me tolerating everything, you know, or it's just like
That's another attempt to approach life. Another attempt to find the right attitude.
Because of course you've got practical level, work, commercially, this, eat, enjoy, not enjoy, sleep, swim, health, exercise, non-healthy things, all of it. And me, it's tolerating itself somewhat.
Yeah, tolerating is, yeah.
So it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, as long as there is someone, there will be the experience of being someone. Yeah.
But you're insinuating that, you know, there's a, I mean, I guess you're not insinuating anything except that one is asking or inquiring as to where this process stops.
Yeah, and even that's why I try to emphasize that it's a story, because that you are here and that you are in a process that leads towards something is actually the dream. And the idea that I'm here and that that I'm real and that something has to stop already is the dream.
Anything.
Anything, yeah. But for me, it's really a helpless situation. A hopeless and helpless situation. Because that means I can't do anything. I'm still here, feeling unfulfilled.
Sorry, I missed the thread of that.
The thing for the me is that this whole thing that I'm here and that I'm in a process, that I'm moving towards a goal, is the dream.
Yeah.
So seen from the me, or there is no end. Or the end would be death, but that's already all a story. There just is no solution to that, to what happens.
So it becomes, because there's no solution, the significance of that energy diminishes.
Maybe not. Maybe it becomes even worse by understanding that there's no way out. But it can also apparently diminish, which isn't really intended. It would be like a side effect of that, but yeah. For the me hearing that it doesn't exist, that it actually doesn't exist already, can have all kinds of apparent effects.
Like?
It can become stronger.
The me?
Yeah, by defending its existence. Can become weaker. It can remain as it is. But mostly there seems to be some effect while being confronted with its own irreality or unreality. But it's not intended to create that effect. This would imply an in order to. So this has no purpose, this has no intention to do so, but that is what apparently happens. That there is an effect.
I just go in and out of completely defending myself here. Like I feel like you're the enemy, and then I feel like you're my best friend, and then I feel like, just really frightened. And then I feel this joy. It's like a roller coaster. It's really crazy. And then I want to come back.
Here.
So, I guess, like I said, I just use the words of Eckhart Tolle, there's a deeper knowing that's working all the time. Otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Say so, yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't be here. I mean, what? Then it's just a masochistic me.
Yeah, it is. I would say this. I'm sorry, but I have to
That's
say
okay.
something about it. But I have the impression that the story of a deeper knowing is created out of the hope that it actually is good for something. No, it isn't. It doesn't have there's in that sense no deeper knowing that everything will work out fine for you.
Not that everything will work out fine, but there is...
It knows what the right thing is.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's more like there is an essence
Absolutely.
that is there.
Yeah, that many people may call this a knowing, but the miracle is that what happens already is complete.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely, yes. If
That's
you call
the
that
part
knowing,
that brings me back. It's not my mind that brings me back, because my mind is really scared.
no, it just is what apparently coming back here is what apparently happens. Yeah. And yes, it's already complete. It's not for anything.
Yeah.
It's not right or wrong.
I don't see that as a hope, because
no,
there is no hope. I might never be that. The me may never die. I mean, there's no real hope, but there is an essence that...
Yes, that's the miracle in a way, that what happens is whole already. And in a way one could say
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Not pleasant or unpleasant, but it's just right.
I don't have a hope that I'm gonna
Yeah.
experience it and in a continuity kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel it. Or I don't know how to say it. It's definitely there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, so we say there is only nothing.
No thing. All
There's
there
only
is
nothing.
this is no
But
thing.
why don't we say no thing plus the apparent everything?
Because that would be too much. You know, no thing already combines nothing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wouldn't say it's nothing.
Yeah, but the everything is only appearance.
No, there isn't only there isn't something real and something that is only appearance. Not at all. This sitting in a room isn't only appearance.
It's what apparently happens.
But that's everything. Exactly.
How?
That's everything. What apparently happens is everything. There isn't something real. This doesn't have a real counterpart. This doesn't have an absolute truth behind it or underneath it.
Okay.
All there is this. So it's not no thing plus an appearance dancing of it that we are trying to leave or to transcend or something. This is no thing. Sitting here, breathing, talking to each other, feeling, a room, that is no thing.
I get it. Mm-hmm.
That is nothing and everything. It's not a big everything, that is everything.
Yeah.
Or no thing.
Nothing.
Or real and unreal.
Pardon me?
Or real and unreal. Unreal is the no, and real is the thing. Unreal is the nothing, and real is the everything. It's real and unreal. It's nothing and everything.
Emotions are real and unreal.
Everything is real and unreal.
And when the me is feeling sorry for itself,
That's what
really
apparently
for
happens.
itself,
Yeah.
then the emotions become very strong. Like the bodily feeling. The feeling inside the body becomes very strong. Like the emotion
That
feeling.
can happen, or there can be strong emotions, but me might experience them as something real.
Yeah, because if you firmly believe that you're real, that emotion is going to be very strong.
Except,
If you don't have any counterpart to that, if you can't think of it as being unreal, if you just think it's real, you are suffering.
yeah.
You're going to suffer in a stronger way.
Of course, I mean that's me's dilemma, that it lives in reality, so in an apparent, so it experiences feelings as real, and it believes what it thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. There's no antidote. It feels its intensity.
Yeah.
It can't be dissolved because it doesn't have any other idea.
Of course not. It wouldn't even want that. It just wanted to stay alive and to find the right way to deal with that intensity. And as a story, one could say, rather in dying in the intensity, it takes a step back and wants to cool it down by just watching it or be aware
Yeah.
of it. Or
Of course, it's so uncomfortable.
yeah. Otherwise, it would die in the intensity.
Yeah. It's a definite feeling of fear of death.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Can you also say that the nothing is the real, because that's the constant in a way, and the everything is the unreal because it's changing, even though they're not separate?
I wouldn't say so.
Why would you call the nothing unreal?
I mean, you can say that, but
Doesn't matter really. I suppose you could say
of course,
either.
that it
You can
doesn't.
say either way, can't you?
Yes, but in a way, saying something is real and something is not real already implies an happening in time. Because this is completely beyond. You can either say it is real and unreal, or this question doesn't fit here. Is this or isn't this?
It's all real and unreal. Like
exactly.
Nothing it's not separate, so
it's
it negates itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One could say it's
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's beyond existence and non-existence.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just
Well,
much more wilder than a real nothing
Yeah.
and an apparent. So it's more unknowable.
Yeah.
It's really crazy because the whole thing's so insane because there's like this belief system that things that are deep,
Things are deep.
when something is very deep, like you have a deep feeling or
Yeah,
you've had a
that's a
deep
dream.
conversation,
Yeah.
it's like such bullshit because
Yeah.
actually depth is no thing.
There
It's
is
not depth, but it's no thing. It's the hardest thing to actually realize. It's so in that sense of it being deep.
it isn't deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is nothing deep,
No.
and there is nothing that can be realized either, of course. But yeah,
Yeah.
it just is as it is.
It's so crazy. And we're all like insane.
So what about when you're like, you know, you've got cancer
Yeah,
and you're feeling the body, feeling this body dying,
yeah.
right?
I'm not there yet, but
And the me is freaking out, scared, trying to expand itself, not be itself, be spiritual, if you like. That is some idea of being stepping out of the ego. But there's still this whole mechanism of physical suffering.
yeah, of course. That's
just
no.
going on.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah,
you know,
but
it's like it becomes a bit of a game. Apparently, not apparently, but
in a
there
way,
it is.
when what can say so. I mean, when there is no one, when me dies, what's left is real and unreal. And one could say the pressure of it only being real is completely out. Yes, but it may, and apparent functioning seems to go on. It doesn't really go on, because nothing really goes on. But apparent functioning happens, yeah, including pain and taking medicine and...
Which reinforces the me.
Not really,
Just
nothing.
keeps it kind of active. 'Cause
Nothing.
It's sort of me's engaged in physically suffering, having to do this and that, you know.
Nothing re-engages me. Me engages itself. But no happening re-engages me. Not at all. Bad experience don't re-engage me. When it's
fortify? You know.
when it's there, as long as it's there, me will reconfirm or will confirm itself in its being. And one could say it will use everything. As we said before, even the whole fact of experiencing something reinforces the me in a way, because it can take a position towards its experience.
Yes, I get that.
But it's not that what happens in that sense really reinforces the me.
It's just always the same.
Exactly. But this is what me would think. Yeah, this sofa looks so real, that's why it re-engages me. But there is no sofa, there is no cancer. It just is what apparently happens. But of course, as long as there is someone...
How can you sorry, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to
Yeah.
push a button here, but how can
Yeah.
you say with such certainty that there is no cancer, there is no me? I mean,
It's
you're
no
taking
thing appearing as that. And in a way, I can say that. Because I can say that. It's being said, the possibility to say this is when there is no one. But there is no one, no entity will ever be able to say that. It's coming from... it's coming from after death. Yeah, it's coming from nothing. It's coming from the land of the dead. No, it's... Yeah. Me will never be able to say that simply because it's not its experience, and it will never be its experience.
Yeah.
Because all me would experience is real cancer, real joy, real release, real acceptance, real defending. It only knows real. So this message, on the other hand, isn't even meant as a help. It's not in order for you to understand that cancer is not real, that you suffer less. No, that's not intended. That would be an intention. And it would be an idea that will never happen. It is real and unreal, but for no one. It's not a help. It's not to make cancer less painful. But it would be painful here too, for sure.
But in some countries when there is cancer, really pain and fear, there is a so-called palliative care, which means more fine. It all goes more fine. It means you expand the me, I think, kind of, and the pain is being taken down.
Yeah, that is apparently happening.
That's what apparently happens
Yeah, when you live in the right country.
in the right country. So in my
But-
country, this is what happened. I witnessed it. It's easier.
But for most people this doesn't happen. But
Not in Spain, maybe.
I don't know.
Yes, in Spain.
But
It's pretty accepted in most of the
More fine.
Yes,
It's a very nice word, huh?
more fine.
Morphine.
there's a connection.
more fine. Oh, that's good.
So, when the me doesn't like something, what's going on there? Why is the me not liking something? The me wants to keep itself going through not liking something?
In a way, one could say that that's
this
just
idea
a
that something is good
that's
or
an
bad.
that's an apparent mechanism. In that we talk about like me is doing that or me is doing that. In fact, that just is what apparently happens. So me doesn't really do that, and it doesn't really want bad things, depending on its story. Me in a way lives in a story about how the world functions, about what is good, what is bad. And many stories are about actually turning bad experiences into something useful or senseful. Like the whole Christianity, for example, likes suffering because it's for something better, for something good. So that is how me tries to find personal fulfillment in adding the right story to what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or monks, or Tibetan monks, or everybody who somehow almost glorifies suffering for the story of a higher goal.
So
but it needs that story of a higher goal to function.
Yeah. So somewhat suffering or pain is diffused by seeing the story of it.
Diffused?
Yeah, I'm very strong on this because I think it's, this idea, I'm not quite sure where you came to sort of make a very specific, clear understanding about it. It's like, what point? So, for example, if you can see that you're perpetuating pain or something through a story, because you need the me is deciding that this is part of what it is to be.
The dilemma, there is nothing wrong in that. That's all perfectly fine. But when there is someone, this me will take ownership of that recognition, of that awareness, and try consciously do another method in order to stop that. So seeing that doesn't necessarily mean the end of that setup of me. On the other hand, within that story, there can be an apparent help through seeing that. And it can be that some stories don't get entertained anymore. But this would just be like that when it happens. Not because me consciously decided it for it.
Okay.
Because that is what me would think. Oh, I've seen it, and I could let it go.
Okay.
Then it would try to live on with that method, and will sometimes succeed and sometimes fail. Because it actually isn't really doing it, it just is what happens. So from that point on, me will try to live on with that method.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it goes. And at some point it doesn't work anymore, then it'll find something else. That's how me goes through its life working. It's just a working life, that's all. It's not bad. It's a bunch of unnecessary work. In a way, constantly overlooking the wholeness of what already happened, one could say. But the whole awareness thing, finding out, inquiring how it works, is that a story, isn't that a story, can I let go of this? It all happens within the dream of me, that somehow working and fixing and trying and doing within its setup. Trying to find there an advantage. Is this a little bit better? Can I get something out of there? What does this, is this useful? Am I totally in a dream? Can I find that out? Whatever. This whole working thing is the dream. which isn't wrong, but within that dream there will never be found what is assumed, because it isn't just working, let's say, out of joy. Me isn't doing that out of joy, but it does it in a way. Apparently it does it because it really wants something out of that. It's really longing for wholeness. It's really longing of forgetting something. But for sure this doesn't work.
But we're only telling dreams. We can only, when we speak, only speak dreams, tell dreams. And I mean, it's also dreams that happened at night. I can recall them and tell them, but also when now I'm talking, so it's dream talking.
It's an
my question is, when there is no one, but still talking happens, okay, out of nothing, then it's not dream talking. That's not telling dreams, or is it just as soon as it's pronounced, coming over the lips, it's dream because it's talking?
It's not dream talking.
So then
Talking is what apparently happens, but of course it doesn't have a content. There is no truth in what is said.
It's all lies.
No, it's also not lies. It's wholeness as that.
Okay.
But the dream of me is that I can say that there is a truth, and that I can tell the truth, and that what I say, that's me's only real. I am hungry. When there is someone, that is the only reality me lives in.
Mm-hmm.
I am hungry.
Some kind of truth.
Yeah, it's not some kind of truth. For the me, that is what's going on.
Yeah.
I know myself, I know being me, and I know what hunger is. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of all those three as as what's going on. It can't access that is real and unreal. It can't access that apparently happens, which would make it whole. One could also say it only experiences half.
Yeah.
It only experiences real.
Yeah. So, you know,
So,
this is
sorry.
stuckism, isn't it?
Sorry?
This is like stuckism.
Me is apparently stuck within itself.
Yeah.
But there is no one be able to get out of this. The getting out of this would just be the death of that setup. There's no one in there that can leave that and remain as an enlightened me, or as a clear me, or as a having left the dream me.
Okay. So, the whole kind of active thing is all the real thing, the me thing.
The what?
We're talking in terms of me,
Yeah.
active, real, I am.
Within its dream. That's all how it
So,
experiences.
If that dream dissolves,
Yeah.
and there then therefore is nothing, right?
No thing.
No thing,
This.
nothing.
This. What's left is this.
Yeah. You just made an analogy of this desire of me to be whole, right, can be found there. Do you see what I mean? By actually the death of itself.
One could say in a way, but it isn't found. The miracle is, it's really a surprise in a way for no one. But the miracle is that in the dissolving of that setup of me, what's left is naturally whole and complete. It just, one could say that's just...
Me certainly feels incomplete and not whole. That's
certain,
for sure.
absolutely. It never will feel complete.
Right.
Never.
It's a pile of crap,
Yeah. The surprise is that the natural reality we want to speak it is already wholeness. And what dies together with me is the dream that it's not. That's all.
So me can't instigate this.
No.
That's a shame.
If me would be real, it would be cool if it could.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Maybe by doing thousands of hours of meditation.
I wouldn't want you to leave with that burden, but no.
Me can finally be chipped down to minuscule, tiny little nothing.
I mean, that is what me thinks. If I try hard enough,
Yeah.
what me concludes of failing is I haven't tried hard enough. Just one more hour of meditation, maybe then. Just one more seminar, maybe then. Just one more. For that big hope of personal fulfillment.
For me, it's kind of the opposite, but it's exactly the same. Because it's like, I'm just not take it seriously anymore. Don't give energy to the me. It's still.
Who would do that?
No, that's what I think I'm doing.
Ah. Okay.
You know, like flowing with it. But it's actually the same thing because I want to do it really well.
You want to do really well,
Well, yeah,
ignoring
like really,
the me.
Like really be really mellow and really cooled out about stuff. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
why?
So it's not so painful.
Ah. Well, what's the problem with painful?
I don't like it.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Me neither.
Yeah, me doesn't like all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and diving down into the subconscious, diving deeper, 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 and meeting super consciousness is just all in the story.
Absolutely.
Doesn't
The one
kill
who,
any me
yeah, the one who dives deep will certainly come up again.
and survive.
Yeah, he never was dead. He just was diving deep. Whatever that means. It's a complete dream. It's completely illusory.
Illusion, delusion.
Subconscious and super, whatever.
Yeah, it's all
Super
in the
is
story,
always
it's
a
all-
little bit.
Bit iffy, eh? Bit iffy.
Yeah, exactly.
What about
And me would love to be super. That's true.
Me would love to be super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what about like going back to emotions? I want to say this without going into the story of me at all. With another person,
Which is the story.
I know. Okay, I try not to go. I try not to go into the story. Forgiveness.
Yeah.
The moment when I'm suffering, I see somebody suffering like me. I can feel it. I forgive them.
Oh, that's nice from you.
They seem less of an asshole because I don't want to be such an asshole either. I mean, I'm seeing like it doesn't help to be an asshole.
No.
In your suffering, it just doesn't help at all. And so if I see somebody really suffering and being an asshole, I don't have to be an asshole too by pretending I don't see that they're suffering. Like instead of blaming them, I see that they wouldn't want to be doing that if they didn't
Okay.
have to. If the me
Yeah.
wasn't making them do it, they wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't be such an asshole. It's not really in their control. They're kind of out.
Absolutely. There is no control.
There's no control.
It just is
So
what apparently
I
happens.
can see them as not separate.
No, you can't, of course, don't
No, I
see
can.
them as not separate, because as long as there is someone
Right.
looking, there will be seen someone
Okay.
trying to find the right attitude or approach towards what is seen or what is experienced.
Exactly.
So as if there is a right way to behave towards other
Well,
people.
less painful way.
Yeah, but who cares about pain?
Well, I do.
Yeah, me does, yeah.
Me does.
Yeah, it wants a good world.
Yeah, I want a world where people forgive each other and
Yeah, me
are
think,
nice to
yeah.
each other, and that you say hi in the morning, and that all those things seem better.
Yeah, that's what apparently happens. Wholeness as you thinking that would be good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's wholeness.
Yeah.
Being is at the mercy of its reality. It seems like the reality controls how it feels.
Yeah, I mean, it lives in reality
Yeah.
with its story. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't sound very free.
It's not free at all.
Yeah.
It's just living in its apparent reality.
Yeah.
Trying to make it good.
And the unfreedom
Overlooking that it already is.
It already is good.
Yeah. As
That's-
it is.
Yeah, that's the frustration.
Exact. For me, this can. Yeah, me can't access this.
It's very frustrating
Yeah, because it constantly tries to make it better.
when it's already perfect. It's already
Yeah.
completely perfect.
Yeah. Okay, it overlooks that as perfection
Yeah.
and is looking for a way out of that. By finding a solution, by finding
Everywhere.
an answer.
Through people, through sex, through food, through talking.
Through being active, yeah, talking, inquiring, meditating.
Do you think these stories of these monks that are just like so zen, you know, like I hear all, you know, being in the spiritual world, there's like all these stories, and then like when I met monks in Thailand, they were really fucked up. You know, like we had this place on the beach, like bungalows, you know, and we found like a lot of monks looking at the girls in their bathing suits, like in a very secretive way and all this stuff. It's like, you know, all of a sudden monks just became who they were. But there's these stories about monks, like
There's no
They're-
connection to this.
no.
There's no connection.
No, but I mean that there. No, but there's like a monk. Oh, like this story of this one monk where he invites people to. He's going to be leaving his body.
Monks are. Sorry.
Well, he just was a monk in this story because people like to hear about monks.
Yeah.
Something becomes holy when you say monk. So it's about a monk in this
Yeah.
story, but now I don't see that story anymore
Exactly,
because I've met
there's
too many
no-
monks. But the thing is, the story is that he's leaving his body on Tuesday, and he invites all of his disciples to come.
Next week, or
Yeah,
okay.
next week, and then his disciples are like really upset, and they're like,
Because he
"But
leaves.
you don't have to die. You know how to keep yourself alive. You don't." And he's just keeps it very simple, and then they come next Tuesday and they're all like at his feet and just saying, well, just give us one more beautiful message or something, and then he just says, this cake is very good, and he's gone.
I think it is next Tuesday. No,
Yeah. It wasn't next Tuesday.
Oh.
He'd like, and
Yeah.
What did you do? Disappear?
no, he left his body. He
Dematerialized.
died,
Oh, right.
but
I don't know.
he didn't make a big deal out of it. There's no drama, and this is obviously for spiritual seekers the ultimate. To hear that this could happen.
Yeah, what is the
That you
question?
have no
about?
drama. Well, no drama with death. No, but only. It seems like only holy people can do that.
Actually, no. There are quite a bunch of people that live
No, I
a
know
regular
that.
life and they die more or less in
I
peace.
know that so many people that nobody knows them.
There was no drama with my dad's death, and most people around here would know. People, there's no drama with their death.
Yeah. No, it's just this thing of always.
But maybe
No
with
drama
monks
with
it's
my mother.
special because they work their whole life for it.
Some will find.
Well, this is specialty given to. It's in the.
I mean,
part
you
of-
see, monks are kind of experts. They are experts in states. So, like other people are experts in economics or have a career or are experts in trading, or they are experts in states. Because that is what they do the whole time. It's a full-time job for them to be a monk and to feel good and to use techniques to create experiences.
Yeah.
They're just it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's their
Yeah.
way of how their illusory way of how I go through life. That is a person. It's just within a personal setup. There just is no connection to this.
No, because I.
And they create all kinds of miracles, apparently.
Yeah.
Like anyone else creates millions and millions out of nothing, millions of euros or dollars out of nothing. They apparently create something which actually is no thing. And the illusion is that I created it consciously.
Well, what I.
Which
really
isn't wrong. As I say, most
Yeah.
people go very happy through their life with their means.
But I saw that it's also conditioning. Because they're conditioned, like, depending on what country you're born in. Like in Thailand, it's very cool to be a monk. So it is part of the conditioning to go into the temple.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But
No, it's nothing wrong with it, but I'm
Yeah.
saying it is also part of a conditioning that it's really cool to be a monk.
yeah, there you have a good reputation as a monk, and here you have a good reputation wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Oh.
You get food all the time. You have a place to live. Really? No, I saw that.
Yeah. There just is
And
no.
I'm sure that there are awakened people that are monks that do awaken. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Where that led, I have no idea.
Yeah, as I say, there is no conditions, so
Yeah.
it can also happen in spite of being a monk. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Maybe you can also distinguish about being awakened or a me that dies, because you can be an awakened one, and that one still has to go.
And that one has to remain enlightened by
Yeah.
working.
Only-
And that's what
only
most people
enlightenment.
understand
Yeah.
around awakening.
Yeah, that's what they understand with awakening. That's right.
Yeah, but most people who think of themselves as enlightened have say that they have to remain enlightened by constantly doing their method.
Work on it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no connection to it. You can make that distinction,
Yeah.
but the other thing has nothing. It's just like being CEO. You reach that. You reach some state, whatever that is,
Yeah.
which needs constant awareness and constant, which just plays within the dream of I am. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that. Almost all the people in the world experience themselves as someone. It's nothing wrong in that sense, but there just is no connection to this.
Like you're saying, like the teachers that teach you meditation, they'll say that you're awake and they'll tell you that you've reached enlightenment, and then you have to keep meditating, because the meditating is part of what
Yeah, of course,
enlightenment.
it's like the permanent work. That's like the stick they need to go through life.
Okay.
Crutches.
And then stop them meditating for 1 week and put them out in the street of New York. Whatever, I don't know. I mean, they will start to meditate. There will immediately a movement towards their method, of course.
Put them in traffic in Ibiza in the summertime.
Which doesn't matter, it's a bad example, because of course they would immediately start their method and assume this to be a new challenge or whatever. It will work out too in its way. But there's just no connection to this. It all happens.
You just said that almost everyone experiences themselves as a me. What makes you think that?
It's an assumption. It's a story.
Okay.
We don't know, do we?
No, we don't know.
It just seems like that.
But it seems like that. Yeah. That's what seems to apparently happen. Like chairs and sofas and a room.
So you can't get rid of anything.
Of course not, yeah.
That's a shame.
I mean, for their being able to get rid of something, there must be something there in the first place. Or one could also say getting rid of something wouldn't make it. It would be illusory. Of course you can get rid of a wrong job or all kinds of things, but there would all be no thing. They wouldn't somehow fill the sense of unfulfillment.
So maybe what we're really trying to sort of get at, like we do, everyone stops and there's silence, or however you experience silence, and that is essentially a non-doing act of kind of a being. If you're attempting to not stay in the me, if you like, that is all. That is it.
That is it.
The stillness is the way.
Mm.
Do you see?
No, there is no way. What is all there is already.
The way is already the way.
One could say so, yes.
So it's just words.
There isn't anything else than what happens.
We stop, and
then
then there is only
what happens.
exactly.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is completely embracing, encompassing.
Absolutely. It's nothing outside of that.
And
Nothing is
everything
separate
in
from
it.
that. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. By what is naturally already embraces everything as being itself. There's nothing outside of that. There's nothing separate from that. It's already everything as it is. Me might think, yeah, that's great, now I have to get it. No, that's the dream.
But when we don't stop, when we're talking and having, it's also, doesn't change. It's also it.
It doesn't, yeah, of course. Yeah,
There doesn't need to be a stop.
No. This would be the story, the stop. Of course.
Release.
But either way, it's for no one. So me cannot become fulfilled on the thought, yeah, separation is also it. Mm-hmm. Good.
I'll try anyway.
it will always remain a little bit half-hearted. Yeah, separation is also it.
Separation is what?
Is also the natural reality. It's also what apparently happens. Separation isn't real. There is no real me here. So all there is the natural reality. All there is already whole. So that was he was referring to, that even the idea of first I have to stop, and then it's the natural reality that's actually already part of the dream. Because all there is the natural reality, but for no one. No one will ever experience it. And the surprise is that no one ever has to experience it. It doesn't need an experience. It just is hell for no one. Including, in a way, being me. But never for the me. In its experience. But obviously the sense of me does arise, apparently. That's it. As it is, with all its apparent consequences.
Andreas, you don't have it easier.
No.
Only me'd have it easier.
Me would love to have it easier as a personal experience, or as a personal state of having an easy life, or as being able to travel easily through life.
So all there is what apparently happens.
Absolutely, there is no one who has anything, or who has an advantage, or goes through life without pain or whatever me might assume.
Yeah, that's what me wants. It wants a better offness, or an easier orness.
Yeah.
Or this perspective where it's coming from nothingness, from nothing, no thing, as a perspective.
As an idea, as a perspective.
It is not. It is just what is.
Yeah. As a state of transcendence. If I could see that everything is unreal, if I could see that this is no thing, which isn't something else than having a better life, or finding a way to have a better experience.
Because when you explain it and you talk properly, then you said, but for no one.
Yeah.
Then I want something there thinks that for no one, this is saying out of this perspective of no thing.
Yeah, one could say so, but me might assume that here also is a standpoint, that this is coming from like a personal perspective.
Yeah.
Like I, for some miracle, have come to another personal perspective on that.
Yeah, not even that. I meant just that there is a different perspective than when you say for no one. For everyone, it's no one, or that. But
it's for no one.
But actually, there is no one here. It's just
Of
that
course.
he believes there is someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all for no one.
It's all for no one.
Because there simply is no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's not only here. There is no separate entity. There is no separate happening to what apparently happens.
So everything that I'm experiencing, you are as well.
No, I'm not experiencing it, but it might apparently happen. Yeah, but there would be no one there to experience it as only real.
It's not.
But I know what you mean. There would be pain or headache or fights or peace or acceptance.
Because
Or
you see, the way we interact with each other, saying, okay, I understand.
yeah, I don't
I
do.
feel that too.
I don't interact,
I have,
and I don't understand. Yeah, I don't interact in that sense. Yeah. What might apparently happen is that an apparent reaction comes. It's a functioning, actually. I understand you, yes. Nice. Or whatever. But there too would be no one living in reality with I'm someone and I do really understand you.
I feel the same.
I feel the same way, and then it's a deep meeting between.
Supportive.
Of course, it supports me in being me, and that feels always good for the me. Me likes to be seen, because that at least confirms its existence.
It's so paradoxically, you can sit there as me, just wishing that me just go take a hike.
Yeah.
Basically, and
It really doesn't really know what it longs for, but yeah.
The way you keep on talking about me makes it sound like it's actually there. Like when you keep on telling me stories about me, it's not there.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's all just blibble babble, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's all empty.
You do have,
What
the
is
reason
I?
I come back,
What
there
is?
is a feeling of warmth around you. That there is.
Maybe
you
sometimes.
Say, like you would never interact and it seems like I know what you're feeling or da, 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 da. And yet there's a feeling that you completely not, I don't know if you feel it or what, but there's a definite feeling of oneness being with you. Like I don't feel I mean, I do. My mind wants to separate from you, but then there's moments where I feel not separate. Because you have a availability. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't experience that. But it's not how I necessarily am. But
Right.
I'm inviting for the talk, so it's somehow kind of my part to be available.
Yeah, but somehow it's the same.
It's not my natural state. Yeah, but okay. There's no experience of anything, so I don't know.
It's similar if you're feeling in love with a man, whatever. You can't explain it. Also. Why you feel whatever.
Yeah. You can't. There's no explanation. I don't know why, but spiritual people always use the concept of honey, like when somebody is trying to say that you can't understand something, you can't. It's like trying to explain what does honey taste like. I don't know why I added that. It just seems to be one of the favorite spiritual.
Just like honey. Just one question.
It's 1 o'clock.
I don't have a watch. It's 1 o'clock.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Just
past
past it. I know. One can sense it.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.